Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon for those who are listening to us from different parts of the world, especially Europe, where we have a lot of partners. Super excited to be here in our June podcast. We're going to have Casey Kio, Executive VP for Consuelo Family Farms, and of course, Carmell Clark joining us today. So maybe we can bring them in to say good morning.
Hello, good morning, Julie.
Good morning, Carmel. So
So
excited to have you here. We have a lot of exciting things to talk today.
we do. I'm so excited to have Casey on. She's one of those very unique individuals, just her perspective on the world, incredibly powerful and positive. So, do we have Casey here, ready to there?
Hi.
And there she is.
Uh, awesome. Well, super excited to have Casey here. I'll just make a very quick introduction, and then obviously we'll pass the mic to you, Casey. But personally, had the opportunity to work with Casey at our former company, and you know, probably have known each other probably a year and a half, 2 years, and it's just been such a delight. I mean, to just learning your own personal journey, you're incredible leader in our industry who spent an incredible amount of time in the industry in different roles in different top global organizations, and just an incredible human being. I mean, just absolutely loved that the destiny and this industry brought us together. So it's super excited to have you here today, Casey. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. That was quite a warm welcome and all the warm and fuzzy vibes. I love it. And likewise, Julie, with your energy, super excited. And Carmel, getting to know you through Global Women Fresh has been amazing. So thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to echo
So
everything
we,
you said, Julie. I just have to echo, like, we ended up having an amazing dinner in Berlin at Fruit Logistica. And something about that was just like we had been doing this for years, right? Like, just so connected, so warm, and I didn't even know that you guys have only known each other for a year and a half or 2 years. I thought you had known each other for 10, the way that connection is. So fabulous. Anyway, Julie, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, well, listen, first of all, we're Gemini. So, also a big part of it's exciting to have her here today because she has a big celebration tomorrow for her birthday. So we're getting
Oh,
all the good energy moving here. But I thought maybe we start, Casey. Obviously, we're super grateful not only to you that you sit in the board of directors for Global Women Fresh, but at the same time, Council of Family Farms is one of our sponsors. So I thought that maybe we started it just talking a little bit about, who Consuelo Family Farm is, what's your role, and then we'll start kind of diving into the dialogue.
sure. So, Consuelo Family Farms, we are located here in southern New Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia and close to the Jersey Shore. We are a 97-year-old company, almost 98 years old, blueberry growers and farmers of fresh vegetables. So we're right in the middle of our blueberry season. We just started picking on Saturday and we are ready to go with fresh New Jersey blueberries. And we've been picking and packing veg for about a month now. And then we also import and supply our customers with 52-week supply on citrus, grapes, blueberries, and a few other commodities. So I was brought in the fall. I've been with the company for about 9 months now and brought in to expand those categories where we import from, create a global environment for our retail partners where we have continuity, we have the best available products from a global perspective, and can really keep our retailers shelves stocked with the best products. So I'm excited to be here, excited that Consuelo has supported Global Women Fresh, and it's been a lovely transition.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we're super grateful too. And we had the opportunity to meet other members of Consuelo Family Farm. So it's really delightful to learn what you guys are doing, and yeah, and they're just so lucky to have you. So so Casey, let's kind of start dive in. I mean, obviously we've had a lot of discussions. You were one of our panel speakers in the Fruit Logistica. So we definitely want to bring some fresh blood to this conversation. Um, so we always we always try to talk about the power of, uh, especially Global Women Fresh, what we're trying to do and how we see the opportunity for women to come and see Global Women Fresh as the hub for networking opportunities, to create more opportunities of business. Um, what are your thoughts? What do you like? What do you see in today's world? What's happening? There's so much going on. What are your sentiments about how we get women to create more business opportunities, and how do we get them to be more comfortable networking and etc.
Sure. So I think networking and community are two very different things. And I think what we're doing here at Global Women Fresh is truly building a community where you feel you have a place, you have a voice, there's space held for you. Networking to me is, meet and greet. You can go to a networking opportunity and meet a ton of women, but not feel a true connection. And I think where the secret sauce is and the magic is when you build that community and you have that power and that trust and that confidence, and you're able to be vulnerable, you're able to tell your truths. And that's the difference here. And that's what I've noticed that you have built so well, Julie, with Global Women Fresh and Carmell coming on board. It truly is a community of women where you feel not only reliant on each other, but trusting in each other to grow your career, but also grow yourself as an individual. And the personal development that comes from that is just monumental.
I just so love that you distinguish between those two things, because I think not just in this industry, but across industry, you know, they're women are basically, they're trying to network the way that men have networked, and that works really well for men, right? Like there's no problem with that at all, but it's not really the way that women connect the best and the
Right.
most, right? I think that's what I hear in what you're saying, and I love that distinction, especially because that is such a core part of the vision that Julie, that you created with Global Women Fresh. Like you're not interested in just this, you know, kind of exclusive situation of a few women, but rather, you know, really women being able to meet each other, you know, whether it's local or global, you know, and everything in between, and really form those relationships based on getting to know each other, like really. And I love that, Casey, you said trust. Trust is so important. And I know, I mean, we've talked about it before. We're launching the Powercircle. That's coming up June 19th. So next week, it's almost here for our first inaugural session. We're super excited about the Powercircle. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but that really is the essence of what, you know, this brainchild is for women that we want to be able to bring. So one of the things, Casey, that you also talked about and that you brought up the importance of is this this space for women to be able to be completely vulnerable, right, and open. Because too often, as you said, we come trying to have everything tied up, everything looking pristine and perfect for everybody else to see, and that's not reality, right? Like, you know,
Right.
We're not perfect. We're not supposed to be. I mean, we're perfectly imperfect, right? Like, what? So,
Absolutely.
take us inside this idea that you have about how we come together and connect and network.
Yeah, I mean, I think that community is built in the quiet and consistent conversations. It isn't all about the loud moments or the onstage presence or, the big giant networking opportunities. It really is built in those quiet, pivotal conversations where you may walk away and take one or two things away from it. And it's not a whole movement. It's just a gut instinct and a gut feeling. And I think we need to take networking away from being transactional and just a requirement and a checkbox, and bring it more into a heartfelt, soul-centered, purpose-driven aspect of ourselves, let alone our careers. It's more about yourself and what you do with that. And of course, that leads into your career, your personal life, your family, all of that. Um, but to me, I think the differentiation between networking and community is that quiet moment, that reflective intuition, and having that inner confidence and being in that vulnerable state. It just allows women especially to open up, to help each other, to create this bond that I don't think we get anywhere else in our worlds. We don't maybe you get it at home, but we don't often get that in a professional setting. So it's really nice to have this opportunity to create that here. And I think the Powercircle is just, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm so excited for it to kick off. I think it's going to be one of the best ways to really elevate that.
Yeah, I am as well. I
I
don't
love
think
I love
there.
go
Well,
ahead,
I'm
Carmel.
sorry, Julie, go ahead.
No, I love that. And I obviously know, your own personal journey, Casey, around how, you've spent, more than a decade in the industry. You took some years off to do some other things, which I think it's so refreshing because, as the majority of our listeners who are in between the ages of 40 to 50, the reality is like a lot of us have been already in the industry for, 20, 25 years. um, and it's fascinating how this power of really relationships, what you're doing, right, like what you're saying, connecting in is such a genuine way that really you're not creating just relationships that are, you're really creating friendships in our industry where people that are become family and friends. And would love to touch a little bit on that part of your journey and how you were out and then you came in, and then how also your own personal journey on other entrepreneur opportunities that you've developed besides produce, which I think is a very really cool part of your story. So tell us more a little bit about that. Yeah.
Sure. So I've been in produce for 20 years. It's actually my 20th year this year. And I've always been in. I took a small step out in 2018 when I realized I had been traveling so much. And, I think our generation, to your point, Julie, focused on go to college, get the degree, get the job, climb the corporate ladder, get the next promotion, get the next pay raise. And I took a breath in 2018 and realized my son's getting ready to go to college. He was 15 at the time. I had missed a lot because I had been traveling a lot and just had been busy. And I wanted to just kind of put the brakes on and reprioritize. And the beautiful thing is, and I think that the biggest message that I could give is give yourself permission to reinvent yourself at any point in time. It isn't a failure, it's an evolution. It's a process, and you may not find the right thing, but to your point, I did take a little step back for a couple of years. I explored entrepreneurship. I had my own fresh produce photography and marketing company. I actually joined a network marketing company, which I had no plans of doing, did not expect to do at all, and fell in love with it because it gave me the freedom to find my voice, find myself, do something outside of, putting all of my value in my career, my title, my position, or being a single mom and being the best single mom that I could be. Those were kind of my two categories. And
Hmm.
finding something else where I could just be me and develop who I am um, was eye-opening. I would recommend it to anyone. If you're not doing something on the side for yourself personally that is 100% selfish and also giving back and can be fluid between the two, try something, do anything. And it might not be the right fit, but for me it was just such an amazing opportunity to explore what else and who else I could be.
Okay,
I'm going to
that's
give it to you, Carmel, because I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts there.
oh, Julie, you know me so well. Yeah. Well, first of all, I have to say, I love that. Like, it doesn't even matter if it doesn't end up working out. Like, that's not the only point of things, right? And also, like, such a Gemini comment. Beautifully done, Casey.
Always.
Always. Yeah. I think that ability, and we had one of our listeners, Juana, has agreed with that, right? The reinventing ourselves and really forming the connections. But that reinvention is key. I mean, how many of us, the three of us here, like how many times have you like really reinvented? So if I think about that in my life, like I just kind of off the top of my head, I can say like I've got like 5 real major reinventions in my life at this point. Like I don't know, Julie, count yours up. I want to know, Casey, what?
I think for me, For me, I think it's a it re, your the Casey's story resonates a lot because for me, I was very laser focused in my career, and the reality is, I wish, as I a little younger, I wish I would have had a little bit more of, hey, it's okay, it's okay to fail, it's okay to it's okay to come down in a different position. It's okay to move, in a lateral moves as opposed to going up the corporate ladder. So I think I was personally were very hard on myself, but I think that the beauty of Casey's story is like, yeah, as you go out and you push yourself and you expose yourself to other industries, to other activities, to other people, to other thoughts. I mean, it just makes you a better leader, right? It just makes you a stronger leader. So I definitely applaud that vision, and also, like, just being able to be open to more things than just the one, staying true to the produce industry, which sometimes, is you need to be a little bit more creative out there. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. I think also it builds a lot of confidence inside. Like it's inevitable when we step out of just one thing or we step out of just one organization, we start to be able to see ourselves more clearly than we can when we've only had that limited experience of ourselves, right? And so that's part of what I also hear in your story and your experience, Casey, is that you have taken that opportunity to step out and do different things and change, in the positions and take on new challenges in that, not just the ones that were familiar to you, right? The things that were also unfamiliar, things were scary or a true growth path. And that is really powerful for building confidence, which is one of the number one things when I work with women in the one-on-one executive coaching and also in training. That is like top that we focus on is this issue of confidence. And there are many reasons why we are challenged in our own confidence, but I think this particular way of thinking about things and reinventing really gives us the opportunity to access inner confidence in ways that are just ready and available to us if we can think differently, if we can engage in that, in our decision making, our career and life choices by stepping out of that more narrow way of thinking. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I actually heard a term yesterday on a podcast that he said it's cathartic normalization. And I thought, absolutely, because if I can be more honest in my mess, it gives others permission to, fly their freak flag as well. And life is messy. There's going to be ups and downs and turns, and I think people can feel seen in that they can relate. And part of what I've learned along the way is, at the end of the day, what you want people to do is raise their hand and say, yes, me too, I can relate to that, this feels normal. And so that term cathartic normalization just felt that it just resonated with me, because
So much.
yeah, it's just such a good, I mean, what a great way to phrase it. It's such a way to say, like, we all have our ish and it's okay, and be vulnerable and share and be open about it.
I love that.
I,
Cathartic
sorry, I
normalization.
was having a little bit of a I was having a little bit of a cough moment here. Go ahead. Sorry, Carmell. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad you're still alive. I
No,
think,
but I wonder. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
well, I was just going to say, like, this idea that you're talking about, Casey, is one of the things that I observe all the time when I lead groups, right? I love to lead groups of all different kinds. And the ones that I lead for women's leadership trainings, right? Those, when we walk into that kind of discussion, they're expecting a specific thing that they've always experienced. And instead, what I'm doing is opening the space up very intentionally for women to start to interact and be open, like you're talking about, to really, have that realness, the reality of what they're experiencing, what's going on. And as women do that with each other in that space, we realize we're not the only ones, like you said, right? Like that's a top situation that happens. And then in addition to that, we start to be able to learn from each other and and recognize that when we walk back into whatever, the professional situations or personal situations, not only are we not alone, but we feel stronger and more powerful because of that fact. And I don't think that we really think about it unless it's put in front of us. Like, when you know you're not alone in what you're dealing with, you just are, you respond differently, you show up differently, right? And
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sometimes in industry events and in women's events, we expect to show up and see someone who's already achieved or who's already been at the top, or these CEOs and top leaders. And that's great and that's aspirational. But what we really need is to get into the trenches with people and be able to relate. And to your point, Carmel, see something in them that we maybe don't see in ourselves and can relate to and can grow towards, without it being this grandiose idea of, I can't relate because I'm not there yet. And I
yeah,
also think sometimes, whether it's in your company or in your industry or even in your family, you get stuck in these silos of, I need to perform a certain way, or I need to show up a certain way. And just giving people permission to be yourself and find that inner confidence. And it's going to be messy and it might be different than what you expected, but it's you. That's the important part.
Casey, and after 20 years in the industry, what excites you? What excites you about our industry? I mean, obviously, I know it's hard, right? Like when you've gone through all of this journeys and you've been, traveled extensively through the world. What are some of those kind of nuggets, opportunities that you're like, okay, well, this is really exciting about our industry? Obviously, we were both part of a startup company, fintech. So yeah, so I think we've navigated a lot of different waters and different organizations. But what are some of the top things that you think are exciting in our industry right now?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things that I see is such an evolution in produce, right? When I joined, when I started in produce, we were worried about getting mandarin clementines, mandarins on the shelf 52 weeks a year and having consistent supply. And now we're at this stage where it's, what are the varieties and where are they coming from and how can we package them differently and what do consumers actually want? And that to me is exciting, like varietals and breeding and really looking at what are consumers looking for. I had a retailer tell me once, talking about grapes, I don't want the grapes that are the fanciest flavor or the craziest variety. I want the potato chip of grapes. What are the consumers going to eat over and over again? And that's kind of the cool part about our business is, one, it's not going anywhere. People need to eat. They want to eat healthy. We have this whole reinvention of, food awareness at the moment and what we're putting into our bodies and being healthy on that aspect. But two, what are those flavor profiles? What are those things that we actually want? It's not just about having a blueberry on the shelf. It's about having a crunchy, jumbo, great flavored blueberry, new varieties, new flavors, disease resistance, all the things. And that's always going to change. So for me, it's like you said, it's about traveling, exploring, seeing what they're doing in other areas and other countries, and knowing that tomorrow it's going to look totally different. We're going to have a totally different landscape and a totally different objective, but it's ever changing.
Yeah, and it's and the reason also I want to also drive this conversation to Carmel is as we're talking about the power of circle and just maybe expand a little bit more into that. I think that one of the things that excites me about the industry and about the work that we do with Global Women Fresh is really intentionally how do we put the tools in the hands of women. As I wake up every morning and I read the news and I see what's happening in the world, it's hard. I do believe that we do need more women leaders, not only in our industry, but also in the political environment. We need more compassion. We need more women to come in and step in into these roles, and that is a big part of why we continue to push forward with, and we're obviously very grateful for all of the work that Carmel does to and work with Global Women Fresh, but it's like we do need more women to really step in and really lead with the DNA that we have. We're compassionate, we're kind, but yes, we're also very competitive and we're go-getters. But it seems to me like it's just such a great opportunity just to, with this power circle, to really kind of get women to be comfortable with being leaders. So I would love to turn it to you, Carmel, a little bit and just kind of talk a little bit of this initiative, how is it going to work and all the details.
Yeah, great. I love that. Thanks, Julie. So we start next week on the 19th, and the entire focus of what we're doing is um, really what we've already talked about, being able to bring women together in this forum, and it's just going to grow, and we're going to organically move with it as it grows to find the best uh, the best ways to meet all the needs that are coming up. And one of the things that I want to put out there for us to talk about is, uh, what is most important to you? What When you are going to come into a member group, which is what we have with the Power Circle, what is most important to you? Is it that you want to be able to make connection with other women in different areas of the world? Do you want to be able to talk about the challenges that you have that you're facing? Do you want to be able to form friendships in other places that allow you to expand business and allow you to expand career opportunities? And also, do you want that opportunity to grow your own leadership, develop yourself as well in that process? Those are all things that the Power Circle member group is focused on, but as an interactive, right? We want to be able to have this discussion ongoingly, if you want to look at it that way, and be able to meet exactly where women are and where they want to go as in the produce industry as we're moving forward. And Casey said something really great about this. She said, this opportunity that we have to think outside of just that narrow space of where we have been, and think about reinventing ourselves in other ways. And this is an opportunity to be able to do that, an opportunity to be able to come in and be vulnerable. I was just leading some amazing trainings for an incredible organization in the UK. They're actually worldwide. And as I was leading this training with all of these women from 7 different countries, one of the common things that I saw was women being able to open up for real. And I got that feedback again and again and again, that women are like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe it. Like, I always have to have everything buttoned up and put on and super tight. And here in this space, I feel like I've actually been able to dive into the things I want to talk about and be able to work on them and come out the other side with real answers, real actions, and skills building and tools. And not only that, real relationships, women that I can reach out to and call on, from this point forward, and to know that I'll be backed up, or that I'll be heard and be met. So logistics of that coming up just really quickly. It's a monthly membership. It's so inexpensive. It's only 35 USD a month. We did that on purpose because Julie and I, as we're, looking at how to meet women where you are all over the world, that just made the most sense. We want the opportunity for women to be able to really come together and start to build something even bigger for themselves and together in their lives and through Global Women Fresh. So we start next week. The details are in the link that you have there. We'd love to be able to answer any questions you have. And I think, does that give all the, there's a website, you can see all of that. Julie, anything else you can think of in that?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. I mean, we're going to be posting all of the information, and once again, it's going back to the point is creating that community, right? Like creating that camaraderie, business opportunities. As we all know, our business is very global, so we want to make sure that women from Europe, from Latin America, from the U.S. have this opportunity to interact. And yes, as Carmel mentioned, I think that. We're incredibly also very grateful for the pro bono work that you do towards Global Women Fresh. We're coming down to some sort of a price metrics that hopefully works for everyone.
Yeah.
So Casey, let's go back to you, girl. So tell us more. So, here it is, 2025. your son. Tell us a little bit about your motherhood, your son. He's
Yeah.
almost 20 years old. Tell us a little bit about that.
So just to touch on Powercircle real quick, because I think you two are doing an amazing job. And I want to stress this a little bit for the audience to hear. One of the amazing things that I heard in talking to Julie and Carmell before this podcast was they don't know exactly the plan for where the Powercircle will go, but they want to let it take an organic, natural progression. And I think that's something that is so important to be a part of. Just almost get in where you fit in, where you get in where you fit in. But the fact that they don't have a structured plan of attack to come in and preach to you or do anything like that, it's going to be a very organic flow. So kudos to you guys for being that open. But yes, I'm a mom to a 20-year-old. I don't know how that's possible when I'm turning 24 tomorrow, but it happened. He is at the University
How
of
did that
Tech, right?
happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I blinked and I went from 24 to 44, and it's just wild. Yes, he is attending the University of Tampa. I actually just moved him into his first apartment over the weekend, which is a wild and weird transition period for him, but also for me, that he's a full-grown human, and I did that. And he's not fully functional yet. He still needs mom for a lot, but kudos to both of us. We both made it somehow. So to all the moms in the thick of it, and I see Juana on here, I know you have littles. Hang in there. It gets better. It gets better. But yeah, it's been a joy. He's traveled. I've been lucky that he's been able to travel a lot with me. I started in produce when he was a baby, and he would come into the office on Saturdays, and he has grown up in the produce industry and has flown around the world with me, and now he's an international business student, so hopefully he'll be working for one of these amazing companies one day, and maybe in produce, maybe not. We'll see.
What
That's
an
awesome.
amazing kickoff for your son, though, to be able to give him life experiences. Yes, agree with Juana on that. Bravo. That he has a much bigger, I was just having this conversation with a couple of different clients, to be able to give your child a much bigger, like a global vision of themselves and their life is so special. I remember growing up and I always had that global vision inside me, but my life and where I came from and the way that my parents lived, wonderful, amazing humans, but they weren't global. Like they had the opportunity for that, but they didn't take those opportunities, and whatever those opportunities might be. And I think that's really what an amazing thing to be able to give to your child, that as he launches into the world with college, with university, that his perspectives go that big, right? Yeah. That's incredible. And I think more people need that. We don't really think that way. I think that's also one of the things, I'm just going to say, Julie, that, when you create a Global Women Fresh, like you didn't create something that was going to be local or regional, right? You were thinking on a global level. And I think we have to consider that, whether we are still working on a local level or we are working on a much wider basis, because I guess the sense is our ability to be able to build something greater according to who we are is in that ethos that we have inside. So yeah. So where does this take you next then? What is like the big number one important thing for you, Casey, as you're looking forward with your career and all the wonderful things you're doing with Consolo?
Where do I go next? Well, being fairly new
well,
here.
Well, first of all, I think you go next to drink a margarita tomorrow for your birthday.
That is true. That is true. A little birthday celebration for starting tonight. I mean, Julie and I both celebrate our birthdays all month, which I think is important.
So it's
Carmell too. Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt your deep answer, but I'm like, I think a margarita is really what's next.
Definitely. What's next? I don't know. I still feel like we have so much possibility and potential here. I've only been here for a few months, and I feel like we're just getting started, and that's such an exciting place to be in a position. Fortunate to have a family run company here. Three of the children and Skip, the owner, are all part of the business. So it's exciting to see the growth and the opportunities and just the evolution that comes with being part of a family run business. I grew up in family run businesses. So it's a different aspect for me than a larger corporation, but we're just excited to grow and to build and expand. But first, we're excited to get through blueberry season. So that's where we're at.
And it's really exciting. I mean, you guys are sitting in two critical categories for the overall business: blueberries and berries and citrus. So I think that yeah, the opportunities are really interesting. I hope that we can get to see you guys at Fruit Attraction as we're kind of starting to to put some thoughts about Madrid and what are we going to do there. So definitely keeping our audience posted. I think it's going to be a great event. But no, this is exciting. I mean, I think Casey once again, uh, so grateful that once again that our paths cross and that we known each other. I would probably say to the audience out there that you're an incredible resource. Obviously, we'll post this in LinkedIn. But for any of those women out there who are wanting to connect, definitely I would say that you're such a great inspiration that it's I would invite people to just really kind of reach out, right? To keep the
Absolutely.
dialogue moving
Yes.
forward. Yeah, yeah.
Please reach out. Please say hello, connect, share this podcast, share wherever you're watching, and invite others to join, because whether it's the right fit for you, you might be able to connect someone who needs this. I think there's so many people right now looking for connection and community and just that feeling,
Hmm.
Julie, to your point of crossing paths with somebody and that unknown of having a connection that you didn't expect. So I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for the Powercircle and to see who joins and who's involved and where in the world they're located, and hopefully we'll move around and visit some of them and do some international trips with this, and we'll evolve. But thank you guys so much. This has been wonderful.
I
Awesome,
love
Carmel.
that.
Any final comments from your side? Any closing comments?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really is amazing, Casey, to spend time with you because your view of the world is um, it's so grounded. I mean, for a Gemini, even, right? So grounded and yet also really so big, so visionary and so open. And I really love that you have that open invitation for people to connect. I mean, you've done amazing things with your social media, really formed quite a community, connecting with people. So I just really want to also say and encourage people to take advantage of those connections and be able to do that through Power Circle as well, because you're going to be with us, joining us there. So that's another opportunity. And also, I really love this idea you just floated across, Julie. You heard that, right? That about like traveling, like some trips around the world with women, with Global Women Fresh. Like that sounds pretty
A
awesome.
Power
Yeah, yeah.
Circle road trip,
Well,
maybe, or air trip.
yeah, I l I love it, I love it. And we're also very, we're very lucky and grateful to our partners and sponsors. As we mentioned before, for Logistica in Berlin has always been a great sponsor, and then Berry World, Consuelo Family Farms, Dole, the Italian Women Association, the Spanish Women Association, Mujer Agro. So there's a lot of really cool things that are happening, and then we hope that our community continue to come and then make us better, give us some feedback. I know a few other really good friends. Juana, thanks for joining, and a few other people. And yeah, I think we'll, if we don't have nothing else, Carmel or
We
Casey, I
want to
think
say we want to say thank you to the Produce Network and to Patrick and Juanita, right? Both like just really love all of the what they've done to help support us as well. That was the last one I wanted to make sure we definitely called out and give all of that thanks to.
I
Um,
noticed they got you girls some microphones, so that was amazing. Look at us,
look
technology.
at that, baby. I got it to work. Well, Casey, have a wonderful birthday, dear. Have that margarita.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for the support and being part of the board of directors of Global Women Fresh. And we look forward to have a lot of people in our power circle next week. So thank you, ladies. You guys
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful, wonderful day.
You too. Happy birthday,
Bye-bye.
Casey. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.